What's up, YouTube? Just feel like I want to do my review about this Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix, and I posted a video about this on my TikTok, so you can go ahead and subscribe to that. It's Young Junior 395. But you know what? I actually it was a good documentary. I have to say, good show. They had Evan Peters, who looked just like Jeffrey Dahmer, the resemblance, and pretty sure the director Jennifer Lynch, and I think it was other directors that helped produce this movie, received permission from the victim families. And I was talking about this with my grandmother about 30 minutes ago, and she was like, "Yeah, man, he was a monster, a serial killer." And I have to say this show really, man, I gotta put this in words. This show, it really highlighted the inaccuracies of law enforcement in that particular time, right? You know, you had the neighbor, shouts out to her, man. She ended up, I mean, she was literally right next to him, and she was just hearing the smell. I mean, just smelling it, and it was very foul, and hearing the power tools that was going off all over the night, man. I was like, man, you know. And so, of course, something was wrong, and he used to go to these gay clubs, and what he do was he would, you know, sweet talk them, he would drug them, you know, take advantage of them. I can't say the R word, but he would take advantage of them and do whatever he wants to them, and take pictures with them, and cut up their bodies and store them in the freezers, refrigerator. And you can tell, like, you know, rotten flesh. That's a smell that you would never, that can never go away. Okay, and this is in an apartment, mind you, and I like how he went to detail about his childhood, right? And you know, his childhood, you know, he loved dissecting animals. His father, I believe, was an analyst chemist, and they used to pick up roadkill. So this is a way how they used to bond together. Okay, based on the information that they researched about Jeffrey Dahmer, they used to go together, hey, dissect animals. And it was crazy enough, they were supposed to, you know, do things for their teachers, as far as like just give, like, you know, apples or anything that was super kind of cool toys. But Jeffrey Dahmer ended up getting live tadpoles in a jar, right? And she was like, "Oh, okay, well, thank you, Mr. Dahmer, for this." And you know, she gave it to another student, had it, and he got mad. He was upset about this. This was in the late 60s, and you know, he took the tadpole and he poured gasoline in it and killed it. And I was like, man, you know, he was verbally abused, and his mom wasn't there. His parents got a divorce in the late 70s, and he was forced to kind of live, you know, somewhere else, you know, with his grandmother and everything at that time, when he was 17, 18 years old. And I didn't even notice too that he was in the United States Army. I believe he was supposed to be a combat medic and everything, but he ended up getting kicked out. He got honorary discharged, but he drugged a soldier. And you know, it talks about like the background, and I like how they really display that. But what really just kind of makes me upset, it was going back to these incompetent police officers. It was a 14-year-old boy that was drugged. Okay, and he was clearly incoherent. He couldn't even talk. He couldn't even speak up for himself. And the neighbor was there saying, "Hey, you know, are you going to take this boy to his parents?" And they believed that the boy was like 19, 20 years old. Of course, Jeffrey Dahmer, in his defense, going to say, "Oh, well, this is my friend. This is someone, you know, this is, well, my boyfriend. He does this all the time." Okay, does he have a license? And they said he lost it. And then they even going to proceed to go ahead and do a background check, or just, you know, separate them. You would think, you know, as law enforcement, you're there to provide and protect the community. You would have gone ahead and just say, "Hey, you know, I'm going to separate these two. Looks like he's a minor. They got to do some research on him." And they probably would find out, like, "Oh, okay, he's 14 years old. Let's take him back to his parents." And he had like a child molestation case on him. Jeffrey Dahmer would have been arrested. And I'm just, you know, it took like a man that was one of his victims, or potentially victims, that escaped. He was running in his drawers outside, and that was a very graphic image. And you know, police was there, and of course they had to go ahead and see what was going on. And they confronted Jeffrey Dahmer, talking about the complaints, and why is this man here just in his drawers? He's distressed. What's going on? He said that you tried to kill him. They went inside and they found disturbing photos, and it was real. It was just him cutting up people and just taking pictures. And I'm like, man, so he got arrested, and that's when it went to detail the trials. When you look at, I was looking at some TikTok videos, right? And one of the TikTok videos, they had one of the witnesses or the victims' families testifying. It was just so real. I have one of the women, I think it was Tony. she was just very, oh my gosh, she was so upset, man. And to her defense, she should be saying you should burn in hell, and all that was completely accurate, man. I like how they couldn't go into detail of every victim's livelihood, because that would be super long. But with Tony, what kind of stood out, he wanted to be a model and everything, and he moved away for a little bit, went to school, I think somewhere in Madison, Wisconsin, and he wanted to make something out of himself, working a 9 to 5, and I can kind of relate, and he wanted to pursue something. And of course, his best friend got murdered, and he ran into Jeffrey Dahmer. For some reason, I don't know what I were attracted to Jeffrey Dahmer, but at the same time, man, he just took that as an opportunity. He was deaf and everything, and developed a relationship with him. But when he wanted to leave and he had to get ready to go to work, he got angry and he just killed him. And then I'm just like, what the hell happened? And so it kind of fast forwarding to this when he went to jail or whatever. Okay, it was life sentences and possibly the death penalty, but he went to jail and decided he wanted to give his life to Christ, and developed this bond with his father again. And his father wanted to create, make this book here, Where Do I Go Wrong? But I'm so glad that the family victims and the attorney of the family, they was like, no, we're gonna go after this because they can potentially make a profit out of this. And you can see too, he was receiving a lot of letters, autographs. People was making a mockery out of him, saying, hey, you the new Freddy Krueger, Jason. Just people in the world and society making fun of these victims here. And it's just, people are just cruel, man. But I wondered, this prisoner, I don't know if they successfully proved that if they who killed Jeffrey Dahmer could have been an inside job. We don't know, right? But I look at it like this, right? So this man, he was a Christian. He talked to God, and he didn't believe that the Lord told him to go ahead and kill him. But hey, man, after Jeffrey Dahmer, just gave his life to Christ, right? And this is the same day that John Wayne Grayson was going to get the lethal injection. And this man in the 1970s had a construction company, okay, and he was luring these people in, and he just killed them. He killed all kinds, like 33 people, man. He had 33 bodies, and he just put them inside his car, outside his home, or whatever. And I'm just like, man, this is ridiculous, man. I couldn't believe it, man. And there was just so many things going on. This man was sadistic. Jeffrey Dahmer is. I mean, he was in his grandmother's home, stole the mannequin. All that was true. And you would think, hey, did they do this to dramatically, to help entertain the audience? But no, all of this happened. This happened, in Milwaukee, man. It's the father couldn't do anything about it. I mean, David Dahmer was just his brother. I believe he's still alive to this day. I don't think he said anything about it, man. He changed his name, but he later died. Jeffrey Dahmer died. He was killed in prison. I remember my father talked about it briefly when I was younger. It was the man, he used to just kill and eat up people. I'm like, man, seriously? Like, and most of his victims was black. But what really gets me upset is that, this was in a poor neighborhood. This was a low-income area. And I'm thinking, like, maybe this was the reason why that the law enforcement here was a little, I won't say hesitant, but didn't care. They was just laxed about it. They was nonchalant about it. I'm like, okay, all right, noise complaints, who cares? But if this was a more affluent neighborhood, they would have been on it right then and there. They would have went over and beyond to catch this crook, right, before he killed other people. And so I think this is what the show was kind of just highlighting that. I don't think it was making fun of the victims, but it was pretty much just to highlight the inaccuracies here that was going on to get this man killed. I mean, get this man, arrested. Okay, but that 14-year-old boy, it just really it irked me, because that could have been prevented in the families that had to go through that, man. Just them being missing, don't know what the heck happened, until come to find out at the last minute that they suffered a gruesome death. But Evan Peters, shout out to him. He did a really good job playing him. It was just, I just couldn't imagine, man. Some people believe that, hey, it's just exposed a lot of down low characters and down low people, but I don't think so. I mean, I come in for a different point of view. I was really hesitant in watching this, and I was like, man, do I really want to watch this, man? But everybody, the talk of the town is a YouTuber is me, getting into that peer pressure. I was like, let me go ahead and just take time on my day. I'm off for a few days, and let me go ahead and watch this Netflix series here. I got time. It was 10 episodes. Something was well worth it. They made a movie about this in 2002, but my thing is too, they were trying to do a memorial. They still haven't had a memorial there. I believe it was still appropriate. It's appropriate to have a memorial at the Oxford Apartments. It's already demolished, and just to honor those victims, because it's people that heard about the story, and then also too, it's a lot of people who hasn't, didn't hear about, don't even know nothing about the Jeffrey Dahmer situation here that happened. But from the Oxford apartments, it was demolished, and man, it was just one powerful scene when the tenants, after he was arrested, tenants still was suffering from PTSD, thinking that, oh shoot, he's gonna show up again, and if they might hurt us again, and we don't know, it's gonna be some type of retaliation. We don't know, because he's been doing this for a long time, so they was sleeping in the hallways. But eventually the manager came in and said, no, you can't sleep in the hallways again. We're gonna, because it's due to a safety hazard, so we're gonna go ahead and we can lower your rent 25%, or yeah, 25%, or you can break your lease without penalty. And I believe that was a good option there. But man, I learned a lot from this, man. Just watching this, it was just crazy, man. I just wish law enforcement at that time could have done a little bit better. Reverend Jesse Jackson, I didn't think he was actually involved in it too, to make sure that the victim families would receive justice. So that was a very powerful tool. I know it was just disappointing that these officers at that time didn't get punished. They got administrative paid leave. So, and that's my thing is, man, with the LE, and you just want them to have some type of compassion. I don't care what color you are, what your economic status is, man. Justice is justice, man. Do the right thing. If not, just don't be in that career field, because people's lives are at stake. And, this is what really got me upset and angry about this, man. I just wish they would have done something a little bit more differently. But it's unfortunate. But I have to give this, I rate this, it was good. Hopefully they'll go ahead and do a memorial, but that's just me personally. I don't know if people agree with that, but this is my thoughts on it. I thought it was well produced, but it was sad, man, in so many ways. And it gave his life to Christ. That's up to God if he's going to go to heaven. He was baptized, but I don't have a heaven to put him in or hell to put him in, but he had to held accountable for what he did. But that's all we have to say, man. That's my review on it. It just highlights what's going on and what's in the world today, man. It's hurtful, and just wish that our Justice Department has a lot of work to do. But hey, they went ahead and Netflix did this. I'm pretty sure the ratings are up the roof, man. But I'm pretty sure that the victim families that were still grieving, they're gonna go ahead and receive some profit off of this. I think the only people that are still alive from the Dahmers is his dad's still alive. He's 86 years old, lives somewhere in Ohio. Then his mom, not his stepmom, and his brother. That's about it. But that's all we have to say about this, man. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Small thoughts. Did you guys watch it? I might post this on my community page. I'm not gonna draw this too long. But tell me what you guys think about this Dahmer Netflix series, man. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Deuces.